lies about. I know what you I know what you
Hello, namaste, hola, ni hao. How are you, dear friends? Today I will be talking to a terrific education research professional from the National University of Singapore, Tara Mohanal. So let's get started. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you for giving me some of your valuable time for the interview. So can I start?
Yes.
Okay. What exactly is your job role at NUS?
I resigned from there long ago. My job was that of a teacher, educator in a classroom, an administrator. One of the worst things I had to do was grade papers. Yeah, those were some of the, and also try and building communities among students. These were some of the things.
Okay. That's a great line of work.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was hard work, but it was a lot of fun.
From how many years have you been associated with NUS?
For 16 years, from 1990, as soon as I finished my PhD, I went there. And I resigned from there in 2006.
Okay.
16 years, yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's a long tenure. When was the first time you thought of joining NUS?
I actually thought of it because when I was doing my PhD, they were planning to start a linguistics program, a linguistics undergraduate program, BA/BSc program at NUS. And my husband is also a linguist, and they contacted us and invited us to go and start the program. So as soon as I finished my PhD, this was a great chance to set up a new program so that we had the freedom to do it the way we wanted it. So that's how we went to NUS.
Wow, that's really nice to know. What is the role you like best at NUS?
Interacting with the students. Okay. And I told you we started this linguistics program, right? So part of what I did there was to build the student community, got them together, got them to interact, got them to learn together and form a kind of support system among them. And so that helped them to learn because they had a support system. Okay. And making sure that they enjoyed learning.
Okay.
So this was those were some of my favorite parts. I used to keep medicine in my office, and the medicine was chocolate. So anyone could come anytime and say, I'm sick, and come and help themselves. So that way, that also helped connect with students and make them comfortable in learning.
What is the main tip you would give to a student of my age who loves science?
The tip that I would have given, or I will give, is something you don't need because you already do it. You keep asking questions,
yes.
Right? You ask why about practically everything.
Yeah.
And that is what you have to do if you're interested in science. So keep asking questions. So, some questions that come to mind, for example, right now are, is there such a thing as a sky? Or is it just an illusion? Is it like, so for example, you look in the mirror and you see yourself there. Are you really inside the mirror, or is that an illusion? It's just like that. Is the sky an illusion? And and Anjali and Zakir, right? So we asked them that, and they said, it's an illusion. They were so sure that it was an illusion. Right? Some of the other questions that they asked, now, because this is something that I think as a tip for your age, you're already doing it. But I would say that that's the kind of thing that has to start really early, probably even before you go to school. You ask questions.
Yeah.
So questions that young children ask. Why do hot things become cooler, they cool faster if you blow on them? right? Or why do wet things become dry if you blow on them? Right? So some of those, we just asking questions about everything around you. I think that's the main way to become part of, or start thinking in like a scientist.
Yeah.
And also ask why you should believe something. If somebody tells you, oh, this is how you should do it, or this is what you should do, ask why. Right? So those are some of the things.
What is the most significant event that has happened to you during your tenure at NUS? Tenure.
Thing that comes to mind is one day I was in class, was doing a session, and this was a time when in our classes, so for example, if it's the first year class or the second year class, everybody who taught in that class attended each other's classes. So the other professors were there too. And suddenly when I was saying something, one student raised her hand and she says, "But Tara, that's a lame argument." Okay? And she was right. I had done something wrong. Now, that for me was the most significant event, not just at NUS, but in my entire teaching career. Because this meant that the student, first of all, had learned enough to catch my mistake. Two, the student had developed the courage to say it. She pointed it out. And she had, the two things that I was trying to teach my students, this person had learned. When a student you find that a student has learned something that you're trying to teach, that's the biggest joy of teaching.
Correct.
So that was a very significant event in my life then. Yeah.
Who or what inspires you the most in life?
Because there are so many inspiring ideas around. And you said what or who. It's hard to talk about what because there is so much. Who, I would like to pick out two people. There are many, but I would like to pick out two people. One, a scientist, a theoretical scientist, Richard Feynman. I don't know if you've heard of him. Richard Feynman, who had this childlike curiosity till he died. I still remember when somebody came and told us that he had just passed away. This is when I was doing my PhD. And he is somebody I always wanted to meet and never got a chance. Right? Now, he talks about, some of the things he talks about are, one, something he learned from his father. This was a Feynman was a Nobel Prize winning physicist, theoretical physicist. So his father, he'd learned from his father that, just knowing the name of something is not knowing anything. You don't know anything about it. So actually there's a video on this. He's talking about this on YouTube. Maybe you want to look it up. So I won't tell you the story. Okay. You can look it up. Yeah. Another thing that he talks about is something that every scientist should pay attention to. That we are never in science. There are some things we don't know. There are a lot of things we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
There's some things we know a little bit about. There's some things we're reasonably sure about, right? But there is nothing that we can be absolutely certain about. So that sort of sense of uncertainty or the awareness that you could be wrong no matter how sure you are, that kind of mindset is something that he advocated. And he had. So that is something that every scientist should be aware of.
Okay. Now that's what I call brilliant. Fantastico. With this, we end our most enjoyable and enlightening chat with Tara Mohanal ma'am. Thank you once again for sharing such awesome thoughts and experience with us.